What's up, folks? Stu Myrick, Sports Guys, talking wrestling on the horn. Hopefully, you've had a great weekend. Those of us that work in state government, a long weekend, maybe. Happy Father's Day, belated Father's Day to all those fathers out there. It was a good weekend. It seems like this time of year, my God, he shows up early. Well, for you, it's early.
Even the clock is right twice.
You mean a stop clock?
Something like that, right?
Yeah. How you doing, Justin?
Man, these I think the hay. What was this? The haze?
What haze?
The dirt.
Oh, the Sahara dust.
Yeah, I think it's finally caught up with me.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
I was
sure
in the middle of playing yesterday.
I'm sure a lot of people suffering from it.
And like, I don't know. I had asthma as a kid, but like, if I ran really hard during one sequence last night, and then after that, it was just all like, huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, sorry to hear that, dude. I was about to say, it always seems like about this time of the year is when things are kind of quiet, and you get a pay-per-view or something every now and again, but nothing really happening. And man, ain't like that this year.
Oh.
I mean, when the man in charge of the largest wrestling promotion, largest entertainment company that attempts to put on a wrestling show, is now being investigated. Wow.
I'm not as
just interesting.
I'm not as I guess as drawn into it as much people, just because this isn't the first time that there's been scandal with Vince McMahon.
No, and it's early on, and we'll talk about it on the show. But just it's interesting more than anything right now.
I think it's par for the course in WWE land.
Well,
it's come on, man. We know it's not like the best people run that company.
No, of course not. Of course not. So, well, we'll get into it and all that good stuff. We'll preview Forbidden Door this weekend. AEW, New Japan,
man,
coming together in Chicago.
I know, but it don't got the buzz that I was expecting.
And I wonder why.
But you can feel it, right? It just doesn't have that zing.
I hate to say it, but I mean, Dynamite was down last week as far as TV ratings go. Rampage was really down. I don't know.
I mean, you mean to tell me this is
You would think this is, this would excite a lot of folks, and it's...
Well, is it... And I guess there's a myriad of questions that could be asked with that.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good time to ask you now.
No, let's save it. We'll do that in segment 2. We'll talk about Forbidden Door and all the good stuff. There's Wes Lee, the man we know as Desmond Xavier, looking sharp on NXT 2.0. All right, let's do this. Let's have a show.
Hello, everyone. This is Bill Apter, also known as Wonderful Willie, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin, and Smash Simmons together again.
Oh, that's Stu.
How was your weekend?
Busy, surprisingly. Dates.
Okay.
You know,
Good.
had to call the pops Father's Day. Wish
Absolutely.
my brother happy Father's Day because it was his first. But
Happy belated Father's Day to all the dads out there.
but when you're one of the fortunate ones like myself who has no kids, you take those opportunities to go on dates where people without families will not be. So it was a great Sunday for me.
I get that. I finished up a week at Boy Scout summer camp, my 28th in a well, I can't say consecutive because 2020 we didn't have it.
I was
going to
say,
but 28 years.
28 consecutive, non-consecutive years.
out in Bastrop at our camp. It was fun.
Just like an asterisk.
It was hot. Oh my God. It was
yeah,
so
man.
hot.
I don't envy you guys.
Oh,
no offense.
man.
It just like there's summer that are tolerable, but this weekend was not that weekend.
It wasn't the hottest we've had.
No.
But it was up there. It was pretty up there. So, you know what else got hot? Vince McMahon's seat. Man, what a week he's had.
Right after the
so
first show.
let's start with
Right after the last show too.
I know.
Like we had just put the bow on the last one, and then breaking news.
And then there we go. All right. So if you have not been following this, so the Wall Street Journal published an article. It was actually last Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Reporting that the board of directors of WWE were investigating Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. They were it's basically that Vince had paid a $3 million, I guess you call it hush money.
Yeah,
to
non-disclosure.
To an ex-employee, made her sign a non-disclosure agreement, who had an extramarital affair with Vince and with Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
Now, I think the crux of the matter is whether this was considered executive misconduct and whether part of that $3 million was company funds.
Yeah, that would be the issue with the board. But, I mean, from what McMahon had claimed, from what we had seen on social media, was that it was paid out of personal funds.
His pocket. Yeah. So that came out. WWE then issued a statement, and I'm going to read directly from it. This was issued on Friday. So this past Friday. WWE and the board of directors today announced that a special committee of the board is conducting an investigation into alleged misconduct by its chairman and CEO, Vincent McMahon, and John Laurinaitis, head of talent relations, and that effective immediately, McMahon has voluntarily stepped back from his responsibilities as CEO and chairman of the board until the conclusion of the investigation. McMahon will retain his role and responsibilities related to WWE's creative content during this period and remains committed to cooperating with the review underway. The special committee has appointed Stephanie McMahon to serve as interim CEO and interim chairwoman.
Well, it's clear from the last couple of Raws and SmackDowns that he clearly is still booking these shows.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so let's and we can't go too much into it just because this thing is still kind of fresh. The first thing that kind of pops in my mind, so Stephanie McMahon, about a month ago, decided to take a leave of absence.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE or somebody put out a report. I won't say that buried her, but cast her in a light of didn't do that great of a job.
Oh, yeah.
She was the chief brand officer.
I remember reading that.
And then, so fast forward a month, Vince has to step aside as CEO and chairman. And who do you get to fill in the interim? Not Triple H. Not Shane. Not Nick Khan. You get Stephanie. The woman that you just kind of was
you can say
derogatory I mean, I guess buried, yeah.
I mean, to use the pro wrestling term in
Now,
this case.
Now, from everything we've heard in the last few days, and we're recording this on Tuesday as always, so figure the last 72 hours or so. This Stephanie as interim CEO and chairwoman is basically a figurehead position. It, kind of, weird. So there's that. Now, we mentioned that Vince has stepped aside as CEO and chairman. John Laurinaitis has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation, and that Bruce Pritchard is filling in as head of talent relations. Now, Bruce, oh my God, Bruce is going to be really busy because not only is he now head of talent relations, he's also the executive producer for both Raw and SmackDown. It's a wild, wacky world over there in Stamford, Connecticut.
But he'll have people that he can help that will help offload
sure,
some of the responsibilities.
I get that. It's it's not rainbows and unicorns right now.
No,
Stanford,
I understand it's the big story, obviously, and honestly, Vince isn't doing himself any favors by just coming out on television the last couple of shows.
Yeah. Oh my God, what was that? I mean, that was so it was announced that he was going to appear on SmackDown. Sure enough, comes out to his music, talks about the SmackDown, tosses the mic, and leaves.
Yep.
And then unannounced, comes out on Raw again, comes out to his music, lets everybody know something we've known for the last couple of weeks, that John Cena is coming back next Monday when Raw's in Laredo, and then leaves. Apparently had a little bit of trouble getting out of the ring, but the camera cut away from that pretty quickly. What if I didn't, to me, that felt like Vince kind of putting his foot down saying, I'm still here, and they're in two spots, I guess, that they know would get a positive reaction to Vince.
Well, yeah. And if it wasn't a positive reaction in the arena, they can pipe it in.
Yeah, right.
But that's exactly what it was, in the sense that it was just a power move by Vince to just show like, hey, I know the company's public, but he still holds the most shares. So he's not going anywhere until he's ready to go somewhere.
He is the majority shareholder. He is still all the creative has to go through him, just like always. So, like I said, we can't go too much into it because, again, this is still pretty fresh. Investigation has just gotten underway. We'll keep you up to date on what happens.
But, I mean, come on. Like, everything that we've ever seen in professional wrestling, like, when you read what happened, it sounded like it could have been a storyline for Raw. But then you're just like, yeah, this is just exactly what
Vince has done it before in storyline.
Exactly, that's why.
The stuff with Trish Stratus.
So it's all like, I hate to say it, this wasn't like so far fetched. I mean, I'm just surprised that nothing had come out earlier.
This time it wasn't storyline; it was actually in real life. So, which
basically,
and I hate to mention stuff like this. So he and Linda are still married.
Are they?
However, apparently they have they're separated or something.
Yeah. I imagine they're married for business purposes.
Maybe.
But like probably live separately in like their own lives for the most
Linda's
part.
been doing a lot of political stuff. She was the lead of the Small Business Administration under Trump.
Oh yeah. And she probably doesn't get that type of pull without, Vince and all these connections.
That's true.
So those all things
like I said, we'll keep you up to date. Meanwhile on SmackDown, so Roman Reigns and Riddle,
good match.
It was fun match. Roman Reigns, hits the spear on Riddle, gets the 3 count. He is still your undisputed WWE Universal Unilateral undisputed, champion. And now Riddle cannot challenge Roman Reigns for the title ever again. Now, so he gets the mic. He says, "We told you. We wrecked everybody. Wise man, there's nobody left. So guess what? We're leaving." Grabs the belts, heads to the ropes. Then Brock Lesnar's music hits. And long story short, for at least the 4th time in recent memory, recent history, it's going to be Roman versus Brock at SummerSlam, this time in a last man standing match. Now, if you believe the rumor innuendo, the SummerSlam slot was meant for Randy Orton. However, Riddle did confirm during his opening promo on SmackDown, Randy needs back surgery. So he's going to be on the shelf for a while. So
yeah, that was legit.
Yeah.
That wasn't the storyline.
So, it's kind of that break glass and pull out Brock. So, of course, here came Brock. I guess making it a last man standing match might be the thing to make it feel at least a little different. Because otherwise, we've seen this already. We just saw it, what's this, June? So we just saw it 2.5 months ago in Arlington.
But who else on that roster is like a credible threat?
And that's the problem.
But it's not just because of bad booking. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They had everybody kind of lined up, ready to compete for something like this. You had the feel good story.
And you got folks. Drew's slated for Cardiff, Wales. Mm-hmm. He's going to be in that one, so you can't have that. Cody's on the shelf. Randy's on the shelf.
Yeah, and Seth Rollins is like your tool, your mechanic. So it's all like you need him available to do all the things on Raw because it's basically his show.
Yeah.
You have Theory in the mix, but he's too young.
He's too young. He's got the U.S. title.
You just gave Riddle his shot, but even then he wasn't ready. I guess you can say, what's Montel's last name now from Street Profits?
Oh, Angelo Dawkins?
No, not him.
Dadgummit.
Yeah.
What's
the EST's wife or
husband? Yeah.
Well, he looks like he'll be slated to break out as a superstar, like singles wrestler at some point.
Yeah, but not.
But this wouldn't have been the time.
Not anytime soon because Street Profits are going against the Usos.
Yeah,
Money in the Bank.
But again, that's because people.
Bobby
are hurt.
Lashley. But
yeah,
problem is the same thing with Brock. We've seen it already recently.
Well, the thing is that Bobby Lashley and Brock need to go against each other.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen.
But besides those two, what are you going to do? You're going to throw Omos in there? Just for the spectacle of it, because he's 7'4".
Omos
AJ Styles.
Way too green.
Because AJ Styles could have been slotted in there if necessary, just because you could probably get a good match out of him. But he hasn't been like near the world title picture in a while.
Yeah.
And that would have been kind of random. So it's kind of, it's like they're just I think they're giving us the best possible outcome, all things considered.
Feel at least a little different.
Think of it this way.
And so, okay, that's fine. That's SummerSlam. So there's your main event.
They gave us Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins 3 straight times, and the third one ended up being the best one.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I felt it probably would have been the best one.
And that was going to be the blow off. So.
Despite the injury anyways.
Yeah.
So I imagine these two will bring it, and it'll probably be even harder than what we saw at WrestleMania.
Could be. We found out on Raw, Bianca Belair was supposed to face Rhea Ripley defending her Raw Women's Championship at Money in the Bank. Rhea Ripley is not medically cleared. Now, we don't know what that means. I have not heard if it's like usually when they say something like that, recent history, it's been COVID.
That's what I was thinking.
But it could also be a concussion. It could be something else. Anyway, the bottom line, she is not medically cleared, so they had a fatal 5-way. And so I was listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez and Mike Sempervive, our good friend, and they mentioned something that I think the last 4 or 5, instead of building somebody up, they just do this random, a multi-person match, and the winner gets the shot.
I mean,
kind of odd.
It's a good, but I mean, again, it was out of their hands. They had the proper build-up.
It was Asuka, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Carmella. Carmella steals the win, so Carmella will face Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank with the Raw Women's Championship.
Perfect. Can't complain about that at all. Nothing to complain about there.
I mean, I don't think anybody in their right mind thinks Carmella's going to win the title, but hey, could be fun.
But I mean, we complain about WWE giving us stuff that we've seen so many times. Like they could have given us Becky Lynch, they could have given us Asuka once again, but they went in a completely different direction that at least threw people off.
Yeah, why not?
And she is a former champion.
That's true. Probably the best storyline that has been happening. The absurd. You had the room with the couch. One end, there's Elias strumming the guitar. On the other end, Ezekiel. And they're chatting back and forth. Elias is talking about how proud he is of his younger brother.
Yeah.
And then we get the concert with Elias, which gets interrupted by Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens gets a guitar to the back. And Kevin Owens is so frustrated. He's going to be Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel next Monday night on Raw. That's been some of the best stuff just because it's so entertaining.
I mean, that's why you pay Kevin Owens the big bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can work anything. But it's Elias. He got that whole walk with Elias thing over because the crowd would go nuts. And now with this whole Ezekiel part, he's over.
Speak with Zeke.
Yeah.
Thing to see how much they elevate him. But
I mean, he has everything they can want.
Well, but we've said that about so many others, that have not reached, for whatever reason, not reached that main event level.
Oh, so, I agree, but in this,
I mean, it's not, it's look. I've said before, when it comes to, whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact, whatever, I don't criticize the wrestlers. The wrestlers do what they're supposed to do, and they're fantastic at it. It's just the way they get booked sometimes.
Well, I was going to say my thing with, Zeke, essentially, is just that in WWE, you have to be able to show that you can be a character, even as a wrestler. Like, you have to have some comedic chops of some sort to be able to work the mic, and he can already do that.
Yeah.
And then he has the look, and we've already seen get two characters over. Yeah. He's one away from the Foley, here. So, and if there is an Elrod, I'll be.
Hey, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So
I'm praying that next week we see him in like a, I don't know. They find a way to hide his long hair or do something, and it'll be Elrod. I hope we get him. I'd love to see that.
It's either that or everybody wants to see Damian Sandow come out and become
That's
him.
Too. So he had his last match at NWA's last pay-per-view where he lost to Trevor Murdoch. Maybe Damian Sandow comes in for a week or two as Elrod. Who knows?
That's true. I mean, they hand out, non-contract contracts.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So, anyway, that's been the most fun, and it's so much fun, and I hope it keeps going because it makes me laugh. So, good stuff with Kevin Owens and Ezekiel, and I'm intrigued in seeing the downward spiral of Becky Lynch.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, I love her character work.
Yeah, I want to see. Let's bring her down some more. Have her lose to Dewdrop and Nikki ASH, have her go on a losing streak.
I mean, like, I've never seen her.
I mean, it was
like,
it
I
was
could
hilarious.
feel it. She's so good at exuding how upset she is. Facial expressions. She looked like she was having a mental breakdown right in front of us. Yeah, it was amazing.
She was. So, we're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we are going to preview Forbidden Door from AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Plus, we'll talk a little Impact Slammiversary. That's coming up next on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Hey, it's Apollo Crews. More stuff in his journal.
That's right. I keep on forgetting he's back on NXT.
He is back on NXT. I think he's back to stay too.
I mean, they called him up.
He doesn't have the accent anymore.
No.
He doesn't do the Nigerian or whatever accent.
But like, what's it called? They pulled him up real early to begin with. Like, they didn't really have a plan for him when they called him up originally. He just kind of been floundering along.
Yeah.
And we've already seen it in WWE. You have to be better than just flashy moves.
Yeah, you do. You do.
You got to be more well-rounded as a performer. Is he supposed to be like I
guess he's gonna be kind of like a vigilante type guy. I don't know.
Yeah, like he's supposed to be like man, what's the name of the Luke Cage?
Maybe it's that.
I mean, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
I mean, I'm not hating on it. It's at least some character work for him.
Well, I mean, and it's just started, so we got to see how it develops. So, but yeah, the Great American Bash in 2 weeks, the NXT version.
Will they have War Games?
That's in the fall.
Okay,
that's in the fall.
But I mean, back in the day.
This is the other thing they co-opted from Dusty.
But that's what I'm asking. Like, back in the day, War Games would take place during like the Great American Bash tours, right?
Yes. So when War Games was first conceived and decided the first time they had it, it was part of the Great American Bash back in the mid '80s when they would do the tour, and it was the Horsemen taking on Dusty and Nikita and the Road Warriors.
In the small cages, like the ones with the low fencing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So it's. Yeah, that was always a.
Yeah, you're distracted.
Those are always their bangers. So
you distracted too a little bit by a
little bit
toxic.
It's sad. I know, it's sad.
No, I mean they're a good-looking group.
Yeah, it's interesting, I guess.
But this has been a good run for Mandy Rose. And I mean, that's a great outfit. Not very many people can pull that off.
True.
I know I can't.
All right, let's preview Forbidden Door.
Although maybe I could. Nah.
Roppongi lights.
Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. This Sunday, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, coming together, presenting Forbidden Door, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Get it on Bleacher Report here in the United States, Fight TV internationally, I think. If you want the Japanese commentary, I think it's even going to be on the NJPW World. It will emanate from the United Center in Chicago. Right now, and again, we're taping this on Tuesday, so there are 6 matches official. We suspect 2 or 3 more to be announced Wednesday night on AEW Dynamite on TBS. The card as it looks now, and then I will give a couple matches that are possibly happening. Let's start with the ones that are going to happen. Six-man tag. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara now joining back up with Chris Jericho.
I know, very exciting.
Part of the Jericho Appreciation Society. It makes total sense. They're going to team up with Minoru Suzuki.
Nice.
I've heard, as some of my colleagues will call him, the Murder Grandpa. And they will face Eddie Kingston, the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta, and from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Shota Umino. Now, Shota Umino is probably best known as the young boy of one Jon Moxley when he was in New Japan. But anyway, so it'll be so basically Jericho Appreciation Society and Suzuki-gun taking on Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. I suspect it will be Jericho and his group will take this one just because that's the way he feels.
It just makes more sense.
It kind of makes more sense. You're right. In a winner-take-all match, you have the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, FTR. You have the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Jeff Cobb and Great Khan from United Empire. And you have Roppongi Vice. Triple threat tag match. Winner gets all the belts. So they will be both the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions and the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions.
I think you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, right?
Which is?
Roppongi Vice.
I would love to see Roppongi Vice win.
Well, that's why you played
I really would.
the bumper.
But, well, it's just because I'm Riker
I'm
Romero's a good friend. And
he's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
But yeah, we know what this is.
I think FTR.
Like, that's like their whole gimmick right now is that they're like the best of the best.
Well, they've got the Ring of Honor titles. They got the AAA titles. To add the IWGP Heavyweight Tag titles, I think that would be they'd have to add another star. But yeah, I think FTR, or there's going to be shenanigans and somehow ends up like somebody gets DQ or count out and the titles don't change hands. But I think FTR.
Can there be disqualification in a triple threat?
Actually, I think it is no DQ.
I
don't know.
I don't know if they have special rules, but most of the time a triple threat match
in WWE triple threat is no DQ.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've ever established that in AEW.
But I think almost every wrestling company runs through that kind of thing.
All right, I'm gonna go out to crown the first AEW All Atlantic Champion. Such a needless championship.
Why should I care?
I know. I'm there with you.
I'm sorry, guys.
Pac taking on Miro, taking on Ishii, taking on the winner of Malachi Black versus Penta Oscuro. Now, this might be a little bit of a spoiler. And again, Dynamite will be live Wednesday night. So if you're listening to On the Horn, you've seen it already. Malachi Black, Penta Oscuro is they'll determine the fourth person to be in that match. Mm-hmm. The rumor innuendo, Penta cannot appear.
Well, yeah.
Because he and Rey Fenix they're not contracted, but they have a working relationship with AAA, where New Japan has the relationship with CMLL.
Yep.
So can't cross the borders, can't cross the streams.
Mm-hmm.
So take that for what you will. Malachi Black, pretty sure will be the fourth person.
Pretty much is where I was getting at too.
Now, who wins the title? I would say Miro.
Him or feels Pac, right?
I think it's going to be Miro.
Just straight up?
Yeah.
Dang.
I think so.
Now, I have to ask, at this point, more or less, we're like 3 matches in. When does New Japan start getting a win here?
Well, that's where we got the next match coming up.
So you're saying Miro, though?
I'm saying Miro.
I'm thinking Pac, but okay.
Okay. Will Ospreay will defend the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship against freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, this is interesting just because we've seen him go before because he doesn't, normally get it out of second gear, and that's good because that's a good gimmick. He doesn't have to put himself into danger all the time.
Right.
But he is coming off of injury.
He is.
So I'm interested to see how hard he'll be going in this match.
I agree. And, I do think Will Ospreay retains here. He just won it at Dominion, so I think Ospreay retains. I don't know if we'll see somebody pop up and say, "Hey, I got next." We'll see.
You think maybe Kushida?
Well, Kushida did reappear in New Japan. The non-compete with WWE has expired, so he is back in New Japan, and the word is, at least the report I saw, he plans to wrestle for New Japan until he can't.
Yes, but he also went on to say something along the lines that his home is still here in the United States, and that he's going to be moving to California soon.
Yeah.
So that would make me think that, hey, he's going to be part of the Strong brand.
Could be.
And help try to get New Japan. Because remember, before the pandemic, New Japan was doing really good at making headway in the United States.
Yes. So that's possible. There's also apparently, I heard a rumor that the former New Japan Strong openweight champion, Filthy Tom Lawler, will be in Chicago this weekend
as a spectator.
So we'll see. I think he's wrestling in maybe an indie show, but who knows? For the AEW Women's World Championship, Thunder Rosa defending against Toni Storm.
I'm not excited, and
something I don't know why. Forgive me, Thunder Rosa. Something is just gnawing at me that Tony's going to win.
Oh, for real? I think Toni Storm doesn't win. I think Thunder retains. It's just that they owe her so much because it's been such a bland title run. And it's not because of her. I mean, she's gone out and she's put on the costumes. She's done everything that she can do. She's done it between the ropes.
It's just been a little bit of an underwhelming title reign so far.
Yeah, and I mean that's no fault of hers. She's working with what she's got, but that also just shows you that but outside of Jade Cargill, the women's division, while there's players and there's Britt Baker and stuff, they haven't got the booking situations all figured out.
Yeah. And to become the interim AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley, Hiroshi Tanahashi. This has been a story, I think, 3 years in the making. And you're finally getting to see it. The Ace taking on Mox. I'm a big fan of the Ace. I think he is fantastic, but Mox is winning this.
No, the Ace is going to win, man.
You think Tanahashi? Huh? All right.
If AEW knows what's good for them, they'll let Tanahashi hold the belt for just a little while because it's not even the real belt. It's just
it's the interim belt, and then
this is the best time to do something like that.
And I think people were excited about CM Punk and Tanahashi. So
that's what people really, really wanted to see. So
that's the thing. I think people really want to see Moxley and Tanahashi.
No, man. Let's be honest. What people want to see on AEW right now is MJF. And they're not getting it.
No, they're not going to get that. All right.
But that's what hurt this pay-per-view, too.
Right. Now, 2 matches. Well, one we know is going to happen. We just don't know who. Jay White, Switchblade Jay White, the leader of Bullet Club, will defend the IWGP World Heavyweight title. We don't know against who. He stated last week on Dynamite it wasn't going to be against Hangman Adam Page. It wasn't going to be against Adam Cole.
Baby.
So... Again, we'll find out, by the time you hear this on the horn tomorrow night, we'll know. Maybe. But we'll see.
Who do you think?
Maybe triple threat. It'll be Page, Cole, and
okay. Because I was thinking this could be the Kushida feel, where he would fill this part on the returning champion.
Possible.
But man, I can't think of anybody else who's really built up to be a true contender in AEW for this particular match.
Well, and I don't think they're not going to pull that belt off of Jay White.
No, there's going to be no title change.
Yeah.
So whoever steps in there is going to take the loss.
Right. So I don't know. It's a little bit baffling to me, but we'll see. The other match that I put pending because Zack Sabre Jr., I believe it was at Dominion, called out Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that match would be fantastic. I mean, two guys with the technical savvy of the American Dragon and Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, my God, that would be so good. Now, we have not seen Bryan Danielson wrestle since Double or Nothing. There was talk that he was injured. We don't know the injury, don't know the nature of the injury. Again, we're taping this on Tuesday night. So Wednesday night on Dynamite, Bryan Danielson is supposed to appear and address his status with both Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts. Because remember, Blackpool Combat Club is supposed to take on Jericho Appreciation Society, I believe, the following week on Dynamite.
Dang.
So we will see. I hope it's to accept the challenge of Zack Sabre Jr. We don't know yet, though, because we don't know what. Again, is Bryan Danielson okay? Is he, or is at least the injury healed enough to where he can wrestle?
Yeah, you just hope it has something to deal with ahead. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, we figure at least a couple more matches will be announced, but that is Forbidden Door from AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Coming to us from the United Center in Chicago. Speaking of pay-per-views, Impact Wrestling had Slammiversary this past week.
20 years, man.
20 years.
How did this company do it?
I believe the only title that didn't change hands was the world title, the Impact Wrestling world title. Josh Alexander retaining it in a hard-fought match against Eric Young from Violent Body Sign.
I didn't think it was going to get that bloody.
Yeah. I mean, I think every other title, you have Speedball Mike Bailey, now the X Division champion. He won Ultimate X. You have Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie as the Knockouts Tag Team champions. You got the Good Brothers winning the tag titles against the Briscoes. Really cool moment post-match. America's Most Wanted. One of the original tag teams. Chris Harris and James Storm.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was pretty sweet. You have Jordan Grace winning the Knockouts World title in the Queen of the Mountain match.
But see, they're like one of the few companies that have the women's division to pull off that type of match and make you feel that anybody's capable of winning it. And gave us, that was probably match of the night. It was so good.
Yeah, and we've seen it. We've said it before. Impact has done women's wrestling probably better than anybody.
Yeah.
Over the last 20 years, quite honestly. They had tributes. You had video tributes from Sting, from Kurt Angle, and from AJ Styles. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, they all thanked their respective companies for letting them do it. You had, like I said, America's Most Wanted. You
had about Forbidden Door, though.
Yeah,
you know? That was a little strange to see.
AJ's,
like we're breaking the fourth wall here.
AJ Styles on an Impact pay-per-view. You had Christy Hemme there. They did a nice tribute to Mike Tenay and Don West.
Oh, because Don
the original
West,
voices.
I know he's going through something hard right now.
Yeah.
But yes, they were a great team. One of my favorite broadcast teams.
Some great stuff. D'Lo Brown sporting the Aces and Eights gear. That was kind of cool.
Who would have thought you would have seen Dixie Carter?
I know. There was a picture they Scott D'Amore posted on Twitter a picture of Dixie Carter, Billy Corgan, and Ed Norholm.
Yeah.
So 3 presidents of TNA and Impact Wrestling together.
And then, of course, the tribute for Tim White and for, is it Dave Hebner, the one that passed away?
Dave Hebner, yeah.
Right?
Earl's brother.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was cool to see, too, because, it's just like, man, those are some classic referees. Like, they were a part of so many stories. That third person inside, like Tim White was the third person in the match for Hell in the Cell 98.
Yeah,
when Mankind comes off the side, things like that. So, just anyway, part of it.
Yeah, Impact Wrestling doing it right. If you haven't been following them, do it. They are putting on some great wrestling right now, and it's time out. When we come back, I'll let you know what's happening in independent wrestling around the area. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and you're listening to The Horn, where Austin talks wrestling. Oh, boy.
Yeah, besides like one match, I think I pretty much called that whole card.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I saw the highlights, and it looked fantastic.
Oh, I mean, Sami Callihan coming back, that's always good to see, too.
Davey Richards as one of the...
Oh, that's right.
And you had Davey and Eddie facing off.
Yes, that was
The
so
Wolves.
good. I was like, that was a nice touch.
That was really cool. Yeah. So
yeah, because we were wondering who they were going to get.
Yeah, because we knew they had Nick Aldis, but we didn't know number 5. So
wow,
I
still can't believe it was like all those dudes together though.
I know
that was really cool. That was a really well done pay-per-view. It hit all the right nostalgia spots.
Impact, I tell you, Impact Wrestling does pay-per-view so well. It's so crazy. And like we said, we've had them on their deathbed multiple times.
There's no reason they should have got this far.
And now they're as strong as can be.
Yeah, I mean,
they really are.
I think it's safe to say they're easily the third company
easily.
in the United States.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just right behind AEW and WWE, and that's because they were able to survive their own competition in ROH.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I mean,
true.
I understand they got bought, but I don't see them coming back in any original form.
Yeah, I still, we keep hearing that Tony Khan is talking with Warner Brothers Discovery about a possible TV time slot for Ring of Honor.
But this is
we haven't heard anything, so
But is it just me, or this is starting to kind of feel like the WWE WCW alliance angle? Like, this is a really good moment for the sport if you're going to make this, somewhat monopoly happen. There's a lot of good stars that you could pluck and put on the roster.
Actually, somebody had the wild, crazy idea. Maybe in Super VV talking about, a Khan is on the contract, but it's not Nick Khan, it's Tony. Well, see, that's the thing. First, they got to figure out what they're going to do with Ring of Honor. So right now, there is no, monopoly or whatever, because there's Ring of Honor's not on TV. You got the titles on TV. Jonathan Gresham had been seen on TV in forever. Mercedes has been defending the women's title on like Dark and Dark Elevation. I think Wheeler Yuta defended the Pure title a couple times. Plus, of course, he's been busy with New Japan. He was in the Best of Super Juniors.
Because
I mean, right now the only titles actually being halfway defended are the tag titles with FTR.
Yeah, because I was going to say this is already a company that has too many titles that I don't care about. And so to add to that kind of just is like it almost feels like participation trophies in a certain extent. It's like, oh, everybody has a title here.
Well, and that's the thing. You got to they got to figure out what they're going to do. I mean, haven't seen anything with 6-man titles, which I don't think they're going to. I got a feeling those will get retired.
I'm not that big on trios titles.
You're not?
No, I don't feel like you need to have like the best 3-man stable if you can't have a 3-man stable for everybody.
Right, and that's kind of funny because when AEW announced the All Atlantic, everybody thought it was going to be that was the trios titles.
Well, I expected
and there was
it
a
from
big
them.
disappointment when it was announced it was just the All Atlantic title. So and you got Japan in there, which isn't in the Atlantic, but we digress. Yeah, it's weird. I have mixed feelings about them. Wouldn't mind seeing them, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Like ROH needs it needs its own time slot if it's going to be like they couldn't just make it a internet only thing, like how they did with YouTube. I guess there isn't.
Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. Mickey James making her presence known. We will start with DFW All Pro Wrestling. Run It Back Friday at the American Legion Post 655 in Haltom City. Bell time 7:30 p.m. Central. Lou Gotti, Alex Arsenal, Exodus Prime, Killer Kate, and more. That's DFW All Pro Wrestling this Friday night in Haltom City. Gulf Coast Wrestling Alliance presents Hotter Than Texas 3 Friday at the Valencia Event Center in Corpus Christi. Bell time 7 p.m. Central. Brian Keith, Ninja Mac, Gringo Loco, Rachel Rose, and more. That's Gulf Coast Wrestling Alliance this Friday night in Corpus Christi. Wrestle Ray presents T-Ray's Ray of Sunshine Pool Party Saturday at the Premier Arena in Houston. Bell time 5 p.m. Central. T-Ray Watford, Aaron Mercer, Dmitry Alexandrov, Promise Braxton, and more. That's Wrestle Rave this Saturday in Houston. And Heart of Texas Wrestling presents the ACW Lone Star Classic Saturday at Come and Take It Live here in Austin on Riverside Drive. Bell time 6 p.m. Central. Nobi Bryant, Joe Angelo Garcia, Great Scott, Nate Collins, and more. That go out and support independent wrestling. Real quick, New Japan has announced the blocks and the schedule for this summer's G1 Climax number 32.
Wow.
You know how like World Cup, they have the pot of death, right?
Group.
All right, the group of death. All right, in New Japan, the A block would probably be the block of death. A block, Kazuchika Okada, Toru Yano, Bad Luck Fale, Jeff Cobb, Filthy Tom Lawler, Jonah, and Lance Archer.
And you get the top two go on, right?
Basically, the winners of the blocks will meet in semifinals matches. Yeah, I should have the schedule. It kicks off July 16th in Sapporo. The winners of each block will face in semifinal matches August 17th in Budokan Hall, and then the finals will be August 18th at Budokan Hall.
Okay, so you got to win your block to move on.
But that A block, good God, there is some beef.
That is true.
Bad Luck Fale, Jeff Cobb, Jonah, Lance Archer. Jeez. No.
I would still say Okada.
Ugh. B block has the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Switchblade Jay White, along with Ishii, Sonata, Tamatonga, Great Okan, Chase Owens, and Taichi. C block, the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr., Aaron Hanare, Kenta, and Evil. D block, Will Ospreay, Yoshihashi, Shingo Takagi, David Finlay, Juice Robinson, El Phantasmo, and Yujiro Takahashi. So that's the lineups. For the blocks in the G1 Climax 32 this summer from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Hey, Block B doesn't look like a cakewalk either.
No, that's no.
That looks pretty tough too.
None of these are cakewalks. No, I mean the person that comes out as the winner and gets that title shot at Wrestle Kingdom, they will have earned it. And then, they'll have to defend that right to challenge at least once or twice between August and January of 2023. They always have 4th. At least they at least have, one time to challenge. So, but man, that A block, wow. That's some serious talent. So, that'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, or Twitter and Twitch at SGTW. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We live stream on YouTube and Twitch most Tuesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Central. You can catch us Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central on the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns and your radio home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys. We are the Horn, 104.9, 101.9 FM, and AM 1260. Or you can catch us anytime on demand, either by going to hornfm.com, click on the On-Air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast platform. Make sure you rate and review us while you're there. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time tonight. We will see you at the matches.
Good Bye and good night. Bang!
And I might have to fill a little bit, but that's okay.
You're going to have to fill?
I actually got to fill. I'm about 20 seconds short. So I'll fill it. I'll find something to insert a story in there. So we got it's the tractor guys. Briggs and Jensen?
I was like, I have no clue. It's a singles match.
Oh no, it's Von Wagner against somebody. I guess it's trying to set him up as a monster.
I mean, the guy that they have him going against is a pretty big dude too. So it looks like one of those like
he's one of the tractor guys.
Yeah.
So it's Von Wagner against one of the tractor. I say the tractor guys, just because I hear Briggs and Jensen, I think tractor. I don't know why.
It's funny though because it's all like Vince would always get. He never could tell the Beverly Brothers apart. He didn't know which one would be which, and this is one of the kids of the Beverly Brothers. That's
Von Wagner.
Yeah. So I just think that's hilarious because it's just like, yeah, that's very. You're right. I can't tell him apart either.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. Oh, what's his?
Was he Blake's kid?
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's
or was it
real name
Bo's
though.
Kid?
I don't remember. Anyway, but yeah, Von Wagner. He is the son of one of the Beverly Brothers. I just can't remember their name. Look it up. Beverly Brothers. It's Wayne. So Von Wagner is Wayne Bloom's son. Wayne Bloom was one of them. Mike Enos was the other.
Mike Enos was a Beverly brother?
Mike Enos and Wayne Bloom.
But which one did Enos play? Which one played Blake and which one played Bo?
Wayne Bloom played Bo, so
Okay.
Mike Enos played Blake. That's one of those forgettable tag teams.
I mean, they were no.
Honestly.
They were no. What was my favorite tag team from like Smoky Mountain at the time that was performing in WWE? It was Dr. Tom Pritchard and the Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey. The Heavenly Bodies.
Oh, Heavenly Bodies.
Yes.
Yeah, they were the new Heavenly Bodies. I was about to say, oh, was that? No, that's not Dirty White Boys. That was earlier.
So, were they a tag team? Like, were they?
I gotta look that up.
I was like, I think Pritchard was a Dirty White Boy, but I don't think both of them were.
I think you may be right.
But it's just a very stark contrast during the time period when they had that Smoky Mountain invasion.
Was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion?
Yeah. Exactly.
It was Tony Anthony. Let's see. Tony Anthony.
Isn't that a little close to Cena's finisher there, Mr. Beverly?
Tracy Smothers.
Tracy Smothers.
Yeah.
There you go.
He was no longer with us.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, anyway. Oh, yeah, we're going to see those two lock up at, I think, Great American Bash. So, should be cool. All right, we're going to sign off. Oh, Elbow Fire's coming out. Right. We're going to sign off. Thanks to everybody joining us on YouTube and Twitch. Have a great week. Enjoy Forbidden Door. We will see you